Can you guys see my screen? Thank you. Let's do this thing. So I'm presenting on yoga, mindfulness, and grief, the therapeutic approach. A little overview of today. I'm going to open with a poem in a moment. We're going to briefly go over what is grief, why yoga therapy for grief, what that approach looks like, practices to accompany your walk, mindfulness, stages of grief work, herbalism and aromatherapy, and the resources. So to begin, get comfortable. You might even close your eyes or get a soft gaze. Take a deep breath in. Let the breath fall out. And take a few more like that, as many as you'd like. Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt, containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild with the weak, fears, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Another deep breath in, and let it go. If your eyes were closed, take your time slowly opening them. That is by Dana Falls. She has a book of poems called Go In and it's beautiful. So what is grief? We know grief most predominantly is by death, but it doesn't limit just to that. Grief is any loss we experience. It could be separation or divorce, a big move, unemployment, health-related diagnosis, foreclosure, simply a sense of loss of self. Grief is multifaceted, and it's conventionally focused on the emotional response, but it also has my earbud just fell out. That was great. Physical, cognitive, behavioral, social. I have no idea where that just went. Well, hang on guys. We'll just take that off. Can you hear me? Cool.
Yes.
In philosophical dimensions, it's a stress reaction. It is trauma. Stress releases hormones like cortisol. Your sleep patterns are often disrupted. The immune system can become weakened. Physical manifestations of grief may include loss of appetite, palpitations, breathlessness, weakness, tension, restlessness. It's a whole body experience. Grief is a state of yearning. It has no time value. And especially in the acute phase, right after one experiences a loss, you might experience floods of distress that could last anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour with or without physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat, breathlessness, sweating, and butterflies. I love this sentiment. Grief isn't a problem to be solved. It is an experience to be carried and nurtured. And yoga therapy offers the opportunity to be with and tend to our grief. So why yoga therapy? Kind of a list of some benefits, or the why: ease physical symptoms, calm the mind, emotional regulation, improve awareness of present moment, finding meaning from the loss, and developing a new self-narrative as you move forward. In the philosophical line, Tantra yoga teaches us that we're perfect and whole as we are. By simply being in this world, we're part of the divine. Perfect and whole as you are, meaning in pain, in joy, in grief, and in peace. Zooming out is yoga as a whole. By definition, it's union. It's union of the mind, the body, the soul. It's connection. And that's something that grief tends to really disconnect us from. So, using yoga as a path, as a way of being, it helps us to realize, to understand, and to reconnect with our oneness. Grief in and of itself is neither negative or positive. It's the result and the loss of precious treasure. It's a multi-layered experience and affects us on every level of being. Our koshas are our levels of being. By observing how grief affects our koshas, how it affects our energy, and then by working with that and attuning to what is present, those are really useful tools. When we can come to a place where we can learn to begin to sit with our grief, we can learn to make a companion with our grief. The koshas, while there's different layers, we know that they're all connected. So if one is affected, we're all affected. And the actuality of our oneness is well demonstrated in the koshas. The koshas can be used to check in with how you're feeling, how you're functioning on all levels. And I'll get into some practices on that later. Oh, a few little housekeeping things. If you've got a question, raise your hand. If you agree with something, if you're jiving with it, give me a thumbs up. If something touches you, it feels connected, place a hand on a heart. Sound good? Awesome. Oh, and kind of an overview, the yoga therapy approach is returning the body to a state of balance while honoring grief. Practices that offer a safe haven to grieve, to love, to celebrate, to heal. Kind of what I love about using yoga for grief is, to me, it's kind of the whole point of yoga. It's being with what is and connecting with that. Some practices. So you can take steps to help your body feel better while at the same time creating the emotional space to be with your grief. The path taken is going to be as unique as the individual and their individual loss. So with that, there's no set guidelines on what you're going to do or necessarily not do. There's no preset prescription. There are, however, practices that are known to help to find relief or ease. And I have a list here, so asana, pranayama, meditation, affirmations, and mantra, chanting. There's a lot of focus and research around grief with using your voice because it's a time where things tend to get stuck. Mindfulness is a big one, and that's what I'm placing a lot of emphasis on today. Journaling, rituals, selfless acts of service, so karma yoga, and community. So, going a little deeper in mindfulness, a little excerpt, mindfully relating to your grief means being fully aware of your experience of loss while simultaneously embracing whatever arises with you with compassion and loving kindness. And really that's mindfulness as a whole, right? So stress, we've all kind of echoed it, it tends to come from dwelling on the past, the future, being uncomfortable or wanting to change what's happening now. And so mindfulness offers us this ability, practice to be with what is, with whatever is. And in my personal experience and research, that's kind of the hardest part of grief, because there's this change, typically unwanted, maybe really sudden and unexpected. And so you push everything away, or that's like our natural inclination. It makes things harder as well. So it's important for us to acknowledge what we're experiencing. And the word acknowledgement is perhaps different than acceptance. We're not asking ourselves to accept or to be okay with what's being felt, because perhaps we may not be. We may not be okay with our pain. We may be scared, angry, or sad. Mindfulness isn't necessarily trying to make you accept what's there, but to acknowledge what's so. Like Jenny said earlier, it is what it is. So here we're talking about learning to tolerate and to be with feelings as they are. Use the weather as an example. We cannot, and it is pointless to try to control the weather. When there is a gale force storm raging inside our hearts and our minds, the notion of controlling those feelings is probably preposterous, but we can learn to watch it, to observe and simply be with feelings without judgment. This is the place to start. To observe and simply be with feelings without judgment. Breathe through feelings. Let them be what they are. And ultimately, know that they will change. And also that we can never control other people's feelings, behaviors, responses. And when we have feelings about that, we can sit with those as well. Those feelings will also change. No feeling state is permanent. Imagine a time when you experienced something unpleasant, maybe even intense. It may have felt awful, it may have felt all encompassing, that you were broken, that it would never change, it was always going to be bad. But a week, a month, or a year later, your feelings did indeed change. It may not have been better or worse than what it was, but it changed. And what we can take from that recognition is that the storm passed and something else arrived. Again, not necessarily something sunny and light, or even something better or worse, but different. Further, this demonstrates our ability to weather the storm, that we can make it through, and that those dreadful things did change. And this helps us know that we can weather future storms. So using mindfulness to learn to observe and not become absorbed by our thoughts, our chitta vritti, our constantly changing mind stuff, can help us avoid those pitfalls. In this light, we're learning to take life breath by breath, to honor what is exactly as it is. Practices could be mindfulness-based meditations, journaling. Think of it like a brain dump where you just simply write stream of consciousness could even be the same thought over and over. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. I am angry. I am sad. Doesn't matter. It's the practice of being with. Meditations also don't have to look, as you know, like sitting. It could be a mindful walk or a hike or knitting mindfully, noticing exactly what you're doing. Sipping a mug of tea and feeling the warmth in your hand. Smelling the herbs, tasting. Could really be anything. So there is no timeline or set stages of grief. So I like this little diagram. It goes for like pretty much anything. You can also put success at the top, right? With that, there are some stages in working with individuals with grief. So the first is the acute phase. And here we're focusing on the sense of rest and safety. Think of calling in sattvic energy. Here's a good place to do metta prayer, to hone in loving kindness, forgiveness, and things like that. Also, when it's really, really acute, you're probably not going to like immediately go into forgiveness. Resilient phase, so daily life comes in waves. How do you write it? How can you be present and find ways to address it? The transformation phase is honoring the memory of what we've lost, where we've come, and coming to a place of neutrality and peace. Again, this isn't like a 1, 2, 3, thank you and done. It looks a little more like this. So it's not uncommon to work through things and go back to, reading the chat, going back to any of these phases and kind of cycling through, even years from then, years from now, right? If you're experiencing something, you might go back to the acute phase. There's no timeline. Here's some fun. All right, so herbal medicine. What is herbal medicine? So it's herbalism is the study of botany and the medical use of plants. They've been around for probably, I would say, as long as the earth has existed. And these practices are still being used. There's Ayurvedic medicine, there's Chinese, there's Celtic, there's Native American. I don't necessarily prescribe to any set of herbalism, rather using sustainable practices, using what is readily available in our culture, locally even. The addition of herbalism in this light, they're healing aids for mental, emotional, physical, social, spiritual health. It's a creative tool and way of coping. Examples could be tea, aromatherapy, flower essences, infused oils or honey, tinctures, bitters. In all, we have plant allies that are ready to extend a helping hand. They are ready to serve us in times of deep grief, sudden loss, and sorrow. And they help our bodies build resistance and fortify the body. I'll be focusing on nervines. Nervines, as the name kind of suggests, they support the nervous system. They work directly with nerves to reduce anxiety and tension. They stimulate and strengthen neural functions. What's great about nervines is that it's a natural sedative, another way to look at it. And these differ dramatically from prescribed sedatives in that they're toning and supporting the nerves without changing mental function or consciousness, and they're also non-habit forming. So if you're sampling some tea that I provided you, it is a blend that I named Herbal Goddess. You'll see why, because it's got a bunch of herbs. and it's full of nervines. So there's rose, which is known to comfort, calm the heart, to soothe, antidepressant, has sedative properties, helps to uplift. Same with lavender and chamomile. They're both nervines that helps kind of support those feelings of calm and ease. Nettle is also a natural pain reliever. It's anti-inflammatory, so it also gives the physical body and your immune system some support. Catnip as well. Yes, catnip is a real thing. That's usually what I get when I talk about catnip. They're like, what? That's a thing? It is. And it has terpenoids. In cats, it looks a little bit different. And maybe you're going to be laying on your ground doing funky things soon. I don't know. That would be your personal thing. They're calming. It's a natural sedative. Don't worry, you're not going to pass out. Next is aromatherapy, which is under the umbrella of herbalism. Essential oils are part of plants' essence. It's what gives plants their smell, and they're highly concentrated, but they can come from pretty much any plant part. So bark, wood, peels, fruit, berry, resins, flowers, roots, leaves, needles, and seeds. All the things. Why aromatherapy? While it can't change the loss, it can help us uplift and soothe and move us through what we're experiencing. It's been a practice that's been around for centuries to assist emotional healing and recovery. If you even think back to religion, frankincense and myrrh were brought when Jesus was born. You can use them aromatically, topically. If you have an oil nearby, grab it. The one I provided, I just kind of named Loving Kindness Tray. I've been checking your shipping all day. You'll get to use it at some point.
When it gets here, don't worry.
Yes. So in a moment, actually I can just go over to this slide. So this is a blend of cedarwood, clary sage, and geranium. You are welcome to go ahead and take a whiff. Disclosure is if you don't like floral scents, this is gonna be really strong and maybe not your jam, and that's okay. But if you'd like, what I would recommend doing is dropping a little bit in your hand. Choo, choo, choo. Cool. Gently rub a little bit together. And then we're gonna almost make like a hand inhaler. Just be careful not to actually touch your face. You can close your eyes and lower your hands. And as you inhale, lift your hands. That inhaler comes close to your face. And then as you exhale, you can let your hands go back down. In a way, it's almost like really mini sun salutations. Inhaling and exhaling. You can do that as much or as little as you like. Typically after I've done that, I'll rub it on my neck. The heart is also a really good place for it. I chose these oils in particular for the following reasons. Cedarwood is known as the oil of community, inspiring the feeling of belonging, assisting the heart in opening and being receptive to love and support from others. Clary sage is known for clarity and vision. It assists in healing crisis and encourages openness and the ability to visualize and imagine new possibilities. Geranium, oil of love and trust, encourages emotional honesty, love and forgiveness, fostering receptivity to human love and connection. And it's known as the emotional healer. All right, a few resources. Actually, I have a bunch of resources that I would love to share. A few specific to grief, mindfulness and grief, yoga for grief. These are both yoga therapists. For essential oils, emotions, and essential oils. One of my favorite that I'm diving into is Ayurvedic yoga therapy. I will send you guys these. Yeah, good stuff. Also, clearly a resource is this wonderful program I've been in for the last 12 months plus. Before I go on, I forgot I added this. So part of the approach for yoga therapy is community, and I've started a little online group that is created to support connection, foster community, and support. If you know anybody who you feel like would be a good fit, or I would love to have you in there. A closing thought, we've got a guided meditation coming up, is we don't get over our losses, we transform our relationship to them. For the last portion of this, I'm going to take us through a guided meditation. It's a mindfulness meditation based on mindful awareness. If you've got questions, I'll open that up first. We can do that. But if you feel like you want to move, get up and move for a moment before you settle in for the meditation. So if there are any questions about any of that, the tea is amazing. Yay, Kate. No questions here? Cool beans. Get up, move. Yeah, Kate, that's what I was also gonna wanna do. The meditation, I think I'll need to cut it slightly short. Let's see. We've got good time. Awesome. I don't think so. It'll be about 20 minutes in duration. So get comfortable wherever you want to be. You might kick your shoes off if you've still got them. If you want to, cut the lights. Maybe you'd like to lay down. If you know that you fall asleep when you lay down in meditation, maybe you don't lay down, or hey, maybe you do. No judgment. So take some time getting to where you want to be for the next 20 minutes. Taking time to find relative ease in your body. You might find a little movement in your head or neck, or your shoulders. Depending on your preference, you can close your eyes, or you might just get a soft gaze. Begin by extending a sense of gratitude for yourself for taking time for meditation. And even though this perhaps is a requirement, know that this is an act of love. As you begin to stop and become present, become aware of the body and the mind and whatever is being carried within you. Perhaps feelings or thoughts from the day's events, or whatever has been going on within you recently. Simply allow and acknowledge whatever is within you and just let it be, without any form of analysis or evaluation. gradually shift your focus of awareness to your breath, breathing normally and naturally. As you breathe in, be aware of breathing in. And as you breathe out, be aware of breathing out. Just being aware of breathing and focusing awareness on either the tip of the nose, the abdomen, if focusing on the tip of the nose, feel the touch of the air as you breathe in and out. If focusing on the abdomen, feel the belly expanding with each inhalation and contracting with each exhalation. Living life one inhalation and one exhalation at a time. Breathing in, breathing out, watching each breath appear and disappear. Just breathing. Gently withdraw awareness from the breath and bring it to the world of sensations in your body. Begin observing without any aversion or indulgence. Just acknowledge the multitude of varying sensations as they change from moment to moment, allowing them to be. As you sense into your body, you may find areas of tension and tightness. If you can allow them to soften and relax, that's fine. If not, just let it be. And if you are unable to soften and relax, acknowledge any persisting sensations. Give them the space to do whatever they need to do. Simply allow these waves of sensations to flow wherever they need to go. Release awareness of sensations and bring attention to hearing, observing all sounds without aversion, or indulgence. Be aware of sound at its most basic, fundamental level. Simply sound waves that your body is receiving. Being aware of sounds at this fundamental level, just acknowledge the multitude of varying sounds, external, internal, moment to moment. Whether the sounds are external or internal, just notice how they are ever changing, revealing the mark of impermanence. Sounds rise, sounds fall. Hear them appear and disappear. Just sounds. Gently shifting now attention from awareness to sounds, to the mind, to thoughts and emotions. Observe the mind without any aversion or indulgence. Acknowledge the multitude of varying mental formations, moment to moment. Think of yourself as a meteorologist, just watching internal weather patterns without judgment, just being with the way things are. Thoughts and emotions rise. Thoughts and emotions fall. Experience them appear and disappear. Just thoughts, just emotions. As you experience your thoughts and emotions, try avoiding falling into them rather than getting caught up in the mind's traps, stories, and habits. Simply observe them dispassionately. Let them be, and know that they will recede in time. If you ever find yourself caught up in thoughts and feelings, know that it's okay. Simply realize that even this awareness is a way of returning to the present moment. Let your awareness recognize that all of these mental states are fleeting and changing, once again revealing impermanence. Very gently withdraw awareness from mental events and bring your attention to the present moment itself as the primary object of attention. Choiceless awareness invites you to become mindful of whatever is arising in the unfolding of each present moment. Just sit back and watch the ever-shifting tides of the mind and body. As you learn to give space to whatever is arising inside with greater equanimity and balance, you can begin to go with the flow. Instead of fighting or resisting what's there, you'll come to understand and deeply know that all feelings, all things change. Even if you're experiencing storms of anxiety, pain, sadness, anger, or perhaps especially at these times, you will know that by giving these feelings space, they will gradually diminish. Come back to the awareness of your own breathing. Feel the whole body, your whole body, as you breathe in and out. Feel your whole body rising upward on each inhale and falling downward on each exhale. Feel your body as a single, complete organism, connected and whole. If you'd like, bring one or both hands to your heart space And may you again take a moment of gratitude for yourself for practicing meditation. May you know that this is an act of love. If you'd like, take a deep breath in, filling up and holding your air in for a moment. Letting it go with a releasing breath outward. As it feels right to you, slowly invite movement and open your eyes. Thank you for being with me.